Hello and welcome back to the Euro Roundup, where we round up the biggest results and talking points from across continental football. Joining me today is Henry Hill. Henry, how are you? You had a very snowy weekend at yours.
I did, yeah, it was great fun. I woke up though to discover that the big 7-foot snowman, which we built yesterday, had completely fallen on his face. So it's completely collapsed. So clearly I've lost my magic touch when it comes to that. I'm a bit out of practice. But no, it was great. I mean, I hope everyone watching was able to get out and enjoy the snow because, I think it was a real lift that people needed, certainly for this lockdown as well.
Absolutely, yeah. Unless you didn't get it from that, it snowed in the UK over this weekend. We all got way too excited about it. But I hope you guys had great weekends wherever you are around the world. But we are kicking off with Borussia Mönchengladbach, who are our winners today at the suggestion of Adel Khalifa 028 regular contributor. Adel Khalifa. Thank you very much for your suggestions every single week. But yeah, what went down with Gladbach, Henry?
So they pulled off a really excellent victory this weekend. Strong run of form continued. They beat Borussia Dortmund 4-2 at home in a really entertaining game, actually. Maybe more entertaining off the basis that Dortmund aren't great at defending. I think that could be fair to say. But some brilliant goals. Elvedi got a double, Bensebaini got one, and Marcus Thuram returned from injury to head home. And then there was a double from Erling Haaland as well, who in his interview afterwards was not a happy man about this defeat. But Gladbach, they've now won 4 of their last 5 games. That includes a draw as well. They've beaten Leipzig, Bayern and Dortmund this season already. It's funny, one of the major news outlets in the UK, who I won't mention, described this as surprise loss for Dortmund against Gladbach. And I was like, it isn't really that surprising that they lost to Borussia Mönchengladbach. Through to the next round of the Champions League, one of the best teams in Germany, and in my opinion, playing a lot better than Dortmund right now. But this was still their first victory in 11 games against them. And it didn't look likely after they went 2-1 down, thanks to Haaland's 13th and 14th league goals of the season. Amazing little clipped goal for the first one. And Bellingham and Sancho getting themselves involved for the second one too. But, Gladbach roared back into the account and were deserved winners in the end. They had 10 shots and got 7 on target, but Dortmund had their fair share too, with 15 shots with 7 on target, and XG had at 2.3 to 1.9 for Marco Rose's side. But it could have been more for Gladbach, really. Just 41 seconds into the game, Florian Neuhaus, he tucked home after Hermann tackled Jude Bellingham. I think VAR just about got this one right. It was just a foul. They went to check and moved it on, and Alisson Player missed a 1-on-1 in the 53rd minute. Really expected that one to go away. But they are without a doubt one of the Bundesliga's most entertaining sides. Only 8 sides have conceded more than their 28 league goals, but only Bayern have scored more than their 35. So Bayern on 49 at the moment. So real return to form for Gladbach, and it's exciting to see, especially that big monster clash against Manchester City coming up in the Champions League. But what does that do to Dortmund?
Yeah, I mean, underestimate Gladbach at your peril going into that Man City game. But yeah, not good from Dortmund at all. And their decision to sack Lucien Favre and replace him with that interim Edin Terzic hasn't really gone to plan so far. They've only won 3 of their 7 league games under him, with 3 defeats. They've conceded 11 goals in those games, and they've only kept 1 clean sheet, which was that 2-0 victory over Wolfsburg. And after the game, you saw Marco Reus was absolutely fuming. He just says we keep on making the same mistakes. It looks like the sort of very structure of their sort of defensive setup is just entirely wrong. They're way too easy to counter-attack, and you're just leaving Akanji and Hummels way too overexposed all the time, and it makes them look quite silly. But actually, I'd say it's a more of a structural issue. And with Witsel having ruptured his Achilles, Terzic went with the midfield duo of Emre Can and Jude Bellingham, but they were completely overrun, and there was far too many individual errors in this game as well. No one picked up Elvedi from the free kick for the first. Berkey then spilt Bensebaini's free kick for Elvedi's second, who then tucked in. Terrible goalkeeping from him again. Yes. And then Brandt's defending for the third was absolutely horrific. He completely overran it, allowing Bensebaini to cut back and curl it in with his right foot. Dortmund have multiple issues all across the park defensively, but they are terrible at conceding. They concede far too many from set pieces. They've now conceded 9 from set pieces this season. Only Schalke have conceded more, and they're in 18th, of course. And it was a real shame because Sancho was actually playing really, really well in this game. He was actually excellent. 4 key passes, 3 dribbles, 3 shots, 2 assists. He's now got 3 goals and 4 assists in his last 6 games, starting to get back to his best as well. He was looking incredibly lively in this. As you said earlier, Haaland's finishes were excellent, but it's just not enough, and it's frustrating for those attacking players when they're being undone by sort of defensive stupidity at times. For Gladbach, Florian Neuhaus continued his excellent season, 3 interceptions, 3 key passes, and 2 assists from him, really starting to come into his own. And with Zakaria as well, such a highly rated midfielder, Elvedi, of course, they've got numerous options, Gladbach, in terms of if they want to sell any of their players and rebuild their squad. Hermann, Hoffmann, Lars Stindl as well. They've just got a phenomenal all-round side. But man of the match in this game, I'm giving to Nico Elvedi as well. Really like this centre-back. 91% pass accuracy, 6 tackles and interceptions, 2 shots and 2 goals. Obviously not his normal role to get goals, but helpful when a centre-back can chip in like that. Next up for Dortmund, they host 11th place Augsburg, and it's just 23 days until they play Sevilla in the Champions League. And if they defend like this, Sevilla haven't been at their best this season, really. But if they defend like this, I can only really see Sevilla coming out on top in that one. So, worrying times for Dortmund. Worrying times for their defensive setup. Sorry, Henry. Go for it.
I was just going to ask you. Obviously, Leipzig lost inexplicably, I'd say, to Mainz, who are second bottom. That, and as you said, Bayern beat Schalke 4-0. And with this Dortmund loss as well, because even Leverkusen, I believe, lost to Wolfsburg, who are sort of part of the chasing pack. Bayern are now 7 points clear at the top of the Bundesliga, halfway stage. I was just wondering how you feel that suddenly now makes the table look completely different. I was just wondering what your opinion is really on the Bundesliga from this point on, with teams like Leipzig, Dortmund and Leverkusen all losing.
Yeah, I mean, it's a real shame, to be honest, because I feel like this is the year that we could have seen maybe a bit of an upset in the Bundesliga, and Bayern not running away with it. We released that scout report on them last week, and their underlying numbers aren't as good. They're looking shaky at the back. They're over-exceeding their XG by such an enormous gap. They're obviously still a phenomenal side, but they haven't been at their phenomenal best. And it's no real surprise when they played for, like every top side has now, they played for pretty much 18 months straight, with that obviously break for COVID, which isn't really a break for anyone. But I was watching them play Schalke yesterday, and they didn't even really get out of third gear. Schalke aren't a great side, obviously. They played really well for the first 10-15 minutes. Schalke looked like they were going to match them, and then the quality of the likes of Kimmich and Lewandowski just really shone through. So Bayern, unfortunately, I can only really see a Bayern victory, but I think from second to 6th is going to be absolutely fascinating. And I think that a lot of sides could get into the Champions League race as well. I think Eintracht Frankfurt have been very good recently as well. So we shall see. But guys, what do you think is going wrong at Dortmund? Do you think they were wrong to sack Lucien Favre? And who do you think will finish in the Champions League places in the Bundesliga? Let us know in the comments down below. And let's move on to our loser.
For our loser this week, we are going to Italy, because @Joe_D Shepherd has recommended AC Milan. They were top of the table, Dougie, but what happened there?
Well, they're still top of the table, but their lead has been reduced to 2 points after they were thrashed 3-0 by Atalanta at home, with goals from Romero, Ilicic and Zapata, and they were completely outplayed in this one. Ladea had 18 shots with 7 on target, while they could only test Golini twice from 14 attempts, and XG had it at 2.4 to 1.7 in Atalanta's favour. And the Rossoneri were, similar to Dortmund, architects of their own downfall, I would argue. Romero was left completely unmarked to head home Gosens' excellent cross for the first. Kessie gave away a very stupid penalty when he elbowed Ilicic in the face, which then drew blood from his lip. Ilicic then got up and tucked away the penalty. It was really stupid from Kessie. It looks like he did it on purpose, but I don't know. He might not have. It might have been a mistake, but he definitely had a very high elbow straight into Ilicic's face. And then their defence was absolutely all over the place for Zapata's third as well. This was the 7th time in 19 league games they've conceded at least 2 goals in a league game, which isn't great, but Inter have actually done it 6 times. So neither of the top 2 sort of the favourites, I should say, for the Serie A title have a particularly watertight defence this year, which is really weird, particularly for a Conte side as well. And after going 27 games unbeaten in the league, Pioli's side have now lost 2 of their last 4 games. Of course, they were also beaten 3-1 by Juventus last month, or earlier this month. I'm getting confused. All time is sort of stopping during coronavirus. I can't remember which month it was, but they lost 3-1 to Juventus. The only positive for AC Milan was that Inter Milan drew 0-0 with Udinese, the third game in 4 in which they have dropped points as well, meaning AC Milan still hold the advantage, but they'll hope to, put in better performances than this. This is really troubling. Their defence, particularly all over the shop. They did have a lot of injury issues going into it, but actually they managed to put out a pretty strong side as well with Kalulu and Kayer at the back, but they just weren't at their best at all here. But Henry, for Atalanta, great win.
Another brilliant week for Gasperini. It's worth mentioning that Papu Gomez, their 32-year-old captain, who hasn't played since the 16th of December against Juve, there's a real kind of anarchy going on between him and the club. But he's close to joining Sevilla in a €5 million deal. So Monchi obviously fancies him. Yeah, I mean, look, he's 32 years old, but I think he's still, certainly where it comes to the wings for Sevilla, I think he could definitely add something there. So that's a good move for all parties there, I think. But I mean, Atalanta's key players, they've really stepped up in his absence. And once again, Ilicic in this game, 1 tackle, 3 dribbles, 3 key passes, 7 shots, and 1 goal, and should have scored another. Some of his footwork is outstanding, and this is week in, week out. If you watch if you check out Atalanta online, Ilicic's footwork is unbelievable. It's really great to see.
He's so bendy as well.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really quite make sense, but good on him. But yeah.
It looks a bit unnatural, but it works.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just him as well. I mean, you've got De Bruyne, who used to play for Middlesbrough. He's been brilliant. And Freuler, they put in 10 tackles between them in central midfield. And Robin Gosens, we talked about this game in Continental Club, which you should go and have a watch for last week. And Dougie, you picked up Robin Gosens. He's one of our favourite players on Euro Football Daily, and he was magnificent once again. 2 tackles, 3 aerial duels, 2 dribbles, 3 key passes, and an assist. And he now has 9 goal contributions in 16 Serie A games this term. Is he a left back? Is he a left wing? Who knows? But the man of the match, though, was McCubbin's shout for this game. Christian Romero, 5 tackles and interceptions.
Mystic McCubbs.
Yeah, once again, got a score almost spot on, I think, too. 1 dribble, 1 key pass, 1 shot, 1 goal, 1 assist. So yeah, Atalanta, we kind of said that we thought they could blow away this kind of weakened AC Milan side, and sure enough they did. It really was a below par performance from the whole of the AC Milan team, but particularly for Salaho Mete. He had a complete game to forget on his first start since his loan move from Torino. Playing as a number 10, he didn't complete a single dribble, create a chance, and only fired off 1 shot. So not exactly the creative force they were looking for there. But for Atalanta, then his side are now unbeaten in 10 games. And they're now just a point off 3rd place Roma in 5th. Napoli losing to Hellas Verona as well to really sort of help bump them up the table too. They're currently looking like they might suddenly have some title credentials. We saw how strongly they came on last season. It's a kind of, like we were saying about the Bundesliga, it's a league that really changes week in, week out, kind of the positionings. So Atalanta, they can string together some more victories like this. It could be quite exciting for them. But next up for AC Milan, though, they've got a really, really big game to look forward to. Coppa Italia quarter-final against Inter Milan tomorrow night. You really shouldn't miss that. It'll be a really interesting affair just to sort of lay out the markers going into the next half of the season. So AC Milan are our losers this week. Let us know what you think about that in the comments below. But it's time for us to move on to our star of the week.
Yes, it's time for star of the week. Right, and it is Kylian Mbappe. It's a big one. A lot of other candidates, but we're going with Kylian Mbappe. And this came in from J McNair99. He sounds like he's from Scotland too. Bonnie dear to you, lad. Anyway, let's go into Kylian Mbappe. Why is that, Henry? And first of all, who were the other choices that we could have gone with?
Well, I saw this name a lot. Yusuf En-Nesyri, the Sevilla forward who scored a hat-trick in their win over Cadiz, their 3-0 win. Now on to 12 goals for the season, joint with Luis Suarez, looking like a really excellent piece of business 12 months ago from Sevilla when they bought him off Leganes. We've kind of been following him in that time, so it's amazing to see him come on, and there's no surprise they don't want to sell him to West Ham. What an audacious bid from but yeah, then also Frenkie de Jong, he put in a brilliant display in Barcelona's 2-0 win over Elche. It's nice to see him and Griezmann really coming on kind of strong this season.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're going for Kylian Mbappe, who scored 2 goals in PSG's 4-0 victory over 10 men Montpellier, who had their keeper sent off in the 18th minute for a challenge on the Frenchman. So yeah, kind of sealed the nail in the coffin straight off the bat there. But he was brilliant. Some amazing link-up play with Neymar and Icardi. And his performance, 2 dribbles, 1 key pass, 4 shots, 2 goals, 1 assist. As I said, Neymar also brilliant. 4 key passes and 8 shots. And PSG under Pochettino really looking quite exciting.
Absolutely, and he's used Verratti in quite an interesting way as well. I've seen him play on a 10 in a few games as well. But it was great to see Icardi coming back to his best form as well in this. He took a nice poacher's finish at one point, and Neymar's just been one of the best players in the world. I think comfortably in the top three ever since the start of last season as well. But this win means PSG stay top of Liga on goal difference alongside Lille, who beat Rennes 1-0 away from home. That's a massive win for them, with Lyon a further 2 points behind. So like the Bundesliga, like Serie A, less so La Liga, Liga is incredibly close this year as well. The Parisians are now averaging 2.3 goals per league game across this term, which is fantastic. But Mbappe once again made headlines after the game, saying he still wasn't sure about signing a contract extension. His current deal expires in 2022, June the 30th, 2022 to be specific. And he said, if I sign, it would have to be a long-term commitment to PSG. I'm very happy here. I've always been very happy. Before continuing, but I want to think about what I will do in the coming years, where I want to be. That's what I'm reflecting on. So what you can take from that is, like any sort of burgeoning star who has interest from Real Madrid, Liverpool, he's considering his options. He's not entirely sure what he's going to do just yet, and there's nothing wrong with coming out and admitting this. I don't see this as a plea that he wants to leave. He's just admitting that he's got a big decision on his hands, whilst not being rude to his current employer. So I actually think this is a very mature thing to publicly say from Mbappe. Do I think he'll leave this summer? Yes, probably. If I had to say, I'm probably 60-40 on that. But I don't think it's a guarantee by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, he's playing incredibly well there once again. He's already contributed 20 league goals in 17 Ligue 1 games this term. But there is interest from Real Madrid and Liverpool. You feel like maybe with Liverpool, they'd probably have to sell one of their star front three if they wanted to get Mbappe, probably Salah or Mane. But Real Madrid, again, apparently their finances aren't in the best of states. There was talk of that at the end of last week. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens. I mean, Henry, do you think he's going to go?
Oh, I mean, like you said, if he signs a long-term deal, they're never going to sell him. They don't have any kind of
need to
really, do they? I genuinely think he'll rather move on. Like you said, I don't think Real Madrid is plausibly an option at the moment. So maybe Liverpool, because they could do with a forward option at the moment. I think the opportunity to go and try out a different league may be a bit too strong. That said, he's still really quite young. So if maybe he can negotiate some kind of agreement, a gentleman's agreement with PSG where he'll stay for a bit longer, help continue the project there, maybe try and win a Champions League, really kind of fulfill the vision of the Qatari ownership. Maybe they'll have a gentleman's agreement there that they'll kind of let him move on if an appropriate bid comes through. But football's never really that nice, as we both know, Dougie.
Even if he does sign a new deal as well, there's no guarantee that means he'll stay as well. He's just guaranteeing a better price for PSG this summer. So they'll be determined to get him to sign a new deal either way. But guys, that is all we've got time for on ERU for this week. Do you guys think Mbappe is going to leave PSG? And if so, where to? Do you only think Real Madrid or Liverpool? Could another name enter the hat? Let us know in the comments down below. And Henry, if they've enjoyed ERU, what should they go and watch now?
Like I said, get back and check out our Continental Club. We had over on Football Daily, we had a big article about Aston Villa, a video that came out this weekend, which is really interesting. Dougie, wonderful voiceover from you. So go check out that. And we've got a number. We'll also have the weekend's action from the Premier League to look up on Football Daily too.
Absolutely. Thank you guys very much for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.